shores of old Lake Erie stands our alma mater true. Fredonia state we proudly honor, with its colors white and blue.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to our latest episode of Reflections of Fredonia. I am Jack Croxton. I am a retired faculty member from the psychology department at SUNY Fredonia. And in our podcast, we have been interviewing Fredonia alumni to find out what they've been up to since graduating from Fredonia and to give them an opportunity to reflect back on some of the experiences that they had while they were a student here. We are broadcasting from right here on campus at the Fredonia Radio Systems, Fredonia's student-run radio station.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chloe Kowalik. I initially graduated from Fredonia. I did my undergrad here in May 2024, and I'm currently a graduate student pursuing my Master's of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling.
For today's podcast, we have a very special guest. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself by telling us your name and when you graduated from Fredonia.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name right now is Lori Robinson, and I graduated from Fredonia I graduated in December of 93, and we did do the graduation in June of 94. But at that time, my name was Lori Grossman. So just to keep anybody that says, oh, yeah, I remember, but that's not the right name, but I did change my name after I had graduated. My diploma actually says Lorraine Robinson Grossman.
Okay, well, what did you study while you were a student here at Fredonia?
What did I study? I studied a little bit of everything. I absolutely loved it. From modern China to the modern history with, oh my goodness, now I'm not going to remember her name, but it'll come to me. But anyways, took some wonderful American history classes. And it was interesting because I was an older student. I don't know if I said that or I need to say that. I was quite a bit older. I graduated from high school in 94, so we'll just leave, or 74, so we'll leave that at that. It took me 20 years to get that 4-year degree and was very exciting. My major, though, was business administration and marketing because to get the accounting degree, I would have had to go another whole semester, and I just needed to get done with this. So, and also that year, my oldest son also started at Fredonia when I was finishing up in 93.
Oh, so the two of you were in school together.
Yes, we were.
Uh-huh.
For 1 year. We pretended we didn't know each other. He said, don't tell anybody your mother. And I said, more importantly, don't tell anybody you're my son. But anyway, we both got through it and he graduated. His degree is actually in geophysics. So
wow.
He graduated in 98.
Okay.
That's cool.
So you're saying the two of you didn't hang out at the campus center together?
No, we didn't. In retrospect, I wish we would have more, but you get what you get, and then afterwards, it's like, okay, maybe I could have done it different, but we can't go backwards.
That's right.
That's true.
So did you know what you wanted to do with that business degree?
Well, I had already been working for many, many years. I had to support myself for those 20 years between high school and graduating from college. So I was already working in the not-for-profit accounting field. I had a wonderful little job with the Chautauqua County Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse, which my wonderful boss, Pat Munson, had been so supportive with me returning to school. And at that time, I was living in Jamestown when I finished my degree at JCC. And I said, I think I'm going to have to quit and move back to Buffalo because I really want to get my bachelor's degree. And if I move back to Buffalo now, I have the support of my family and I can go, to so many different colleges and that kind of stuff. My boss said no.
No.
She said, no, you can't quit. She goes, you can move to Fredonia and go to Fredonia and we'll let you, work out of the Fredonia office instead of the Jamestown office. But that's an option. So I took that very generous option because I was still going to be able to get paid
Mm-hmm.
at a full-time job. Eventually, one semester, I did work part-time and went to school full-time because some of the classes I wanted to take were only available during the day and not in the evening. So that was a fun semester because, of course, my kids weren't happy because we canceled the cable.
So do you have any favorite like memories of any experiences? I know it's been a while. Any teachers at all that you can remember?
Mike Bobzine.
Oh, Mike
Mike
Bobstein.
Bobzine was my political science. Like I said, I took a little bit of everything, Jack.
Well,
One
Mike
of my
Bob.
favorites was a biology class for consumers that my kids really enjoyed that too because we would get a list of ingredients or something and we have to go to the grocery store and figure out what it was. And so, the kids really got into that too. But one of my favorite things, and again, I should have kept names because I don't remember them all, but I had gotten involved in 92 with the Democratic political party and a little bit because of Mike Bobstein and my political science class. And I just thought, well, this is fascinating. I really would love to know more about this. And so I was involved with the thing, and we needed a candidate for the 92 I guess it was 92. Well, it was, so it was a 93 election, I believe. But anyway, we needed a candidate for the county legislature that I lived, the district that I lived in. And at the time, the year before, I was in Mike Bobstein district. But that next year, they said, oh no, they changed the district line. You're not there anymore.
Oh,
Mm.
So because I would never run against Mike Bobstein, but I did run against the Republican incumbent. And when I went to my marketing class prior to making that final decision, actually, I went to the instructor first. His name will come to me too. I can see his face. But and I said, well, what do you think? Because this marketing class was about, you pick your own project and, you pretend you're making a business or something. But anyways, I went to him and I said, well, what do you think about a marketing campaign also being a political campaign? Because it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he just thought that was the greatest idea in the whole world. And so the first class of that, we had to get up and give a presentation to the whole class about what our idea was. And I immediately had about 10 kids raise their hand, 10 other fellow students, sorry, Chloe, I didn't mean kids, 10 fellow students raise their hand and say, absolutely, we want to do that with you. So I
oh,
had a wonderful, wonderful campaign team. We did all sorts of things. We made little radio commercials and went door to door, wore out a pair of shoes. We had made up some little door hangers on the old Word Perfect. Remember that?
word perfect. Sure.
And went around and hung them on the doors. Had my picture on them. When I hung them on the door, I had the picture on the back. But anyway, there were signs all over Dunkirk that said Lori Gross, or I'm sorry, all over Fredonia for Lori Grossman for county legislator.
Hmm.
And it was funny because I had gone back maybe a couple of years later, and one was still in a window somewhere up on the third floor. But anyway, it was very exciting. It was very fun, and we did not win the election, but we did all get A's in the class.
Oh, that's good. That teacher wasn't Frank Crone, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a really good teacher. Yeah.
That's cool. And he was so supportive of that idea. That's awesome. I really like that.
Yes, no, he thought that was the greatest thing ever.
That's
So
so
I was
cool.
like, oh, okay. But anyway, so it was fun. That was one of my fondest memories.
So it didn't inspire you then to want to be a politician?
No,
Then
what
that
I
one
did is
experience?
I moved out of the state and changed my name.
Okay. So at that was that when you moved out to Arizona?
Yes, it was after that was kind of plan A was winning the election, plan B was moving somewhere where there was I could see how the economy works.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about your time out in Arizona.
My time in Arizona was amazing. I was there for about 15 years. The first 3 years were very hard, but after that, I just embraced the weather, the mountains, the sunshine. I got involved with team in training. It's the leukemia and lymphoma fundraising thing where they take couch potatoes and in 3 months prepare us to do either a triathlon, a 100-mile century ride on the bike, or a marathon.
Hmm.
And some of my friends and I had been doing some 5K races just for fun. And then they, presented this opportunity to be able to go to Alaska, to Anchorage, Alaska on the summer solstice for the midnight run, is what they call
Oh.
it, or something like that. But anyways, I said, well, if I could do a marathon in Alaska on a day when there's like 20 hours of sunlight, because that might be
Yeah.
how long it takes me. But so that was an amazing experience. We had to raise money in order to do this, but they trained us. We had practice sessions every week, and we do all sorts of fun things. Um, so then I did the marathon in Alaska, and I was in the gym a couple, later with my team and training socks on, and this woman said, "Oh, I see you're involved in team and training," and she goes, "You got to do a century ride," and I'm like, "No, I don't." Well, she proceeded to tell me about her son that had died of leukemia and another son that had a brain tumor. And I'm like, if you can sit in the waiting room through those kind of things, I can ride my bike for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Wow.
did that. We did one was around Lake Tahoe,
Oh, wow.
which is very, very mountainous.
I bet.
Hmm.
But and the other one was around Tucson, Arizona, which is
Hmm.
beautiful, just flat, kind of rolling kind of hills in the desert. But
Mm-hmm.
um, and
Have,
then I had, if you did a triathlon, you got a special pin because you did a trifecta.
right.
So I had to do the triathlon. That was not as much fun, but I did it.
Oh,
That's cool.
have you kept up with that those kinds of activities?
Well, no, because I did it already. No,
Yeah.
I, I I did. I ended up doing two marathons and the two century rides, and so in 2019, just that recently, I had decided that I was going to do another triathlon. They have one up in Grand Island here.
Mm.
And so I'm like, okay, it's in next August of 2020. And in 2019, I was working then also full time at work still, but I was working at the Jewish Community Center leading a water aerobics class. So I was really working out a lot and was in pretty good shape. And I said, I can do this, by the time August came. Well, we all know what happened between 2019 and August of 2020.
Yep.
So I did not end up doing that triathlon. And oh, well, that opportunity passed,
Yeah, you still do the
which I'm
water
fine with.
aerobics. Yeah. You still do that
I'm,
water aerobics class today, don't you?
yes, I do. I do four days a week, and I
Oh,
have a
wow.
wonderful, wonderful group of people that come all the time. And it's really a wonderful fellowship, and everybody gets along, and very eclectic and diverse group of people. And so I just absolutely love it.
Yeah. So, kind of tell us a little bit about what your career looked like So we know you were working at that non for profit as an accountant, and you kind of did that through your time at Fredonia. You retired in 2021 as the director of finance for the Buffalo History Museum. So, kind of tell us a little bit about, your step from Arizona back up to here and what your career trajectory looked like.
Well, because I had the experience in not-for-profit accounting, which is a little bit different than, for-profit accounting,
Mm-hmm.
I understood what different funds were and that kind of stuff. So when I went out to Arizona, I ended up getting a job at it was Stonegate Community Association. As again, it's a non-for-profit, but the extreme opposite from the Council on Alcoholism. The
Mm-hmm.
homeowners associations have lots of money. The Council on Alcoholism is scraping the bottom of the funding barrel
Mm-hmm.
constantly. So, it was quite a different perspective on accounting and the economy and the world to be working in this homeowners. So when I started working there, there was only about 500 homes. The closeout was going to be 900. So the idea of being in that development, all this brand new stuff, was really quite amazing. It was like you drive down the street one day and it's a field of nothing, and then the next week it's all got stuff in there to start building. Like in 2 weeks it's done, and the next week cars are parked in there, and the place is working. It was really amazing. And now that I live in Buffalo with these very old houses, I kind of can imagine what it was like in 1890s when they were just building like crazy
Mm-hmm.
also.
Sure.
Yeah, so I was there for 14, about 11, 12 years, I think. And then I did move to another homeowners association, a couple of other little accounting jobs in between. But then in 2009, 8 and 9, uh, 8, I was working at this another homeowners association just before the whole big housing
Mm-hmm.
crisis.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up losing that job, and then that's when I came back to Buffalo
Oh, okay. Well, I know
and
that.
worked at the History Museum for 11 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I know you've been very active in your local community, including being an important part of the League of Women Voters for Buffalo Niagara. I think in that role you may have come across a person, Mary Croxton. Uh,
One of my favorite other co-presidents and state board members.
I know. Well, Mary keeps certainly keeps busy in what all that she's been doing with the League of Women Voters, and I know that the league has done so many important things. Tell us a little bit about what being in the League of Women Voters and having an important role in the league means to you.
Okay, well, like I said, when I ran for office, the League of Women Voters of Chautauqua County held a candidate forum, which I participated in. And then I kind of, when I went to Arizona, I did do always work at the polls, doing the poll worker stuff the whole time I was in Arizona, but never really got involved in any other political stuff. And so when I came back to Buffalo, I had been invited to go to a talk and a panel discussion that the Buffalo League was doing. And so I said, okay, I'll go. It sounds like fun. It was an interesting conversation. And I happened to sit next to a woman from the Buffalo League. And so she started saying, telling me all about the league and this and that, and, really should join and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I'll think about it. I'm really wasn't too involved in anything in Buffalo at that point yet. It was the end of 2012. And so I said, okay. So I had joined the league just thinking I'd, give them my money and go about my own business. But the idea that I love about the league is the nonpartisan. the idea that it's not about candidates and political parties, it's about issues and people and voting and our democracy and our rights and our privileges and all the wonderful, wonderful things that we have in the United States of America. Oh, and I'm still going to say have. I'm not going to put it in the past tense yet. Um, and so when I decided then they were going to have a little holiday party, so I said, well, I'll go and meet and see who's there, see if see if anybody will talk to me. And so I went to the holiday party, which was like a potluck supper, which was really fun. And the president of the league at the time, Terry Parks, recognized that I was a brand new member. And so we sat down to talk. And as soon as I said that I work at the History Museum and I'm an accountant, she goes, "Oh, we need a treasurer for our board."
Ah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know about all that. Well, anyway, by January, I was the treasurer of the League of Women Voters of Buffalo and Niagara.
Mhm.
And so I started doing that on the board. And like I said, the league was involved in doing so much stuff, and we would have our lunch and learns and things. And I was privileged enough at the History Museum that if I needed to leave for a 2 hour lunch, I could do that. That wasn't something that a lot of people have access to.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. So then I also then was asked if I wanted to join the state league. So I joined the state league as treasurer for about 6 years, while still being treasurer locally and doing whatever. And then when they kept saying Terry can't be president anymore, don't you want to be president? And I'm like, not really. But I said, oh, there's no way I could be president until I retire. And of course, at that time, I wasn't going to retire yet.
Uh-huh.
But then after during the pandemic and just the way of the world, and then I turned 65, I said, you know what? I'm going to retire now. So I retired on June 3rd, and they installed me as president on June 4th.
Ah, okay.
Man, they got you right in.
I don't waste time, but no,
No.
I do waste time. But um, it was a little incredible, and jumping into from my full-time job that I got paid every 2 weeks for into a three-time job that I didn't get paid for,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but it's my passion and it's okay. And then fast forward, even in 17, that first term, things weren't quite as bad, but now this time what really is sustaining me is the fact that I am a member of the League of Women Voters, and the League of Women Voters is being very, very vocal about the fact that we like our democracy and we really want to keep it, and so that gives me a voice, and that makes me very happy.
That's great. Well, I know Mary has found it to be very, very gratifying being in the league, and I think what's important to her is all of the great support that she's received from her spouse over the years.
Of course, I'm sure that she's got the most supportive spouse in the world.
Oh, well, how
I
do you?
don't have a spouse, but I do have a very supportive partner.
Okay.
We're not married and we don't live together, but he is also very much an activist. So between the
Well,
two of us, we feel like we're trying to contribute to.
Yeah.
well, I have to say, in these times, I believe that the league is more important than ever.
Agreed. Part of what I say sometimes is like, we've been registering voters for 104 years, but we need to, and now the whole league is saying it too. Take that next step. It's great to get all those people registered, but if they don't vote, then, this is what we get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel your time at Fredonia sort of helped to shape your career and where you are today?
My time at Fredonia was, like I said, very, very hectic being working full time and being a mother of two, a single mom of two adolescent boys and trying to go to school. So hectic is my first my
Yeah.
first memory, but it also, like I said, I just think the idea of college, whether it's a 2-year college, 4-year college, whatever it is, it's the exposure to so many different ideas and people.
Hmm.
That to sit in a classroom, no matter what the subject is, you're going to get something fascinating out of it, and you're going to hear from different people. As I was starting to say, Jackie Swansinger,
Okay.
I knew
Yep.
I would get that
Jackie.
name back. It would come. She was my history professor, and we were about the same age.
Hmm.
So it was very interesting when we're, doing the history of the United States in the 60s and 70s.
Hmm.
And, the fact that, yeah, I remember that kind of thing came up where the other students, weren't really at that same place. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really very, very interesting. And like I said, just all the different exposures to things. I mean, I just think that's very, very important for everybody.
Sure. Good advice.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you offer for current Fredonia students?
Enjoy it. It's going to
I
go
like
by
it.
fast, and this too shall pass. I do remember at one point, my friends and I, when we were saying, yeah, I think I had like 2 semesters more to go, and I said, there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and it's not a train coming at me. It is
Hmm.
the end. And so, it's going to be over. So enjoy what it is right now, because that's all we got is the moment.
Absolutely. Well, Lori, that about does it for our interview today. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I would like to add, other than my son and myself and my daughter-in-law, because that's where my son met his wife, who they're still together and have
Oh,
2 beautiful daughters, and are all alumni. So is my niece, Amy, my sister-in-law, Sandy, my cousin, Jason. Um, I
Wow.
think there's about 9 of us, I think, that all graduated from Fredonia.
that's awesome.
Which,
Wow.
it's a perfect thing from Buffalo to go to Fredonia because you get to go away to school, but you're really close and you can come home if you want to. Um, but I lived right across the street from the college on Central Avenue. I said, if I'm going to live in Fredonia, I want to live on Central Avenue. So I did. And so I could walk across, walk to classes and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with all the people in your family that have gone to Fredonia, that gives us a lot of alumni that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
could
Want me
be
to send you all
interviewing.
their emails?
You guys could.
Actually, Amy DiChristina is my niece who went, and she was very involved, like in student life and stuff. She was, what do you call it, a resident assistant,
Uh-huh.
and
Mm.
she lived down there.
Yeah.
She would be a great one. She also then I won't tell you her story. I'll let her tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel
All
free to send
right.
her contact
We'll,
over. That'd
we'll
be
leave
awesome.
a little
I
suspense
will.
here.
I
Yeah.
will definitely.
Sounds great.
Well,
Uh, so that basically wraps up this edition. I am Dr. Jack Croxton.
And I'm Chloe Kwolek, and we'll see you in the next podcast.